Well, hey guys, good evening, and it's a quiet Wednesday night, and we're going to work on some saved games, or at least the saved games thing. Okay, so let's have a look at this. We have our graph. We have now added another button, which is the continue button. So let's let you see that. So there's the continue button. Okay, and we have been working on the manage data and being able to default. So you can, I assume you want to delete this, save, cancel, close. Okay, so that actually works. Now there is a little bit of code that we need to add fundamentally to this, but we shall stop it for now and have a look at it. As you guys know, in Blueprints you only have access to one save slot. Not exactly true, but what we've got to do is we have to make it so that our save slot names are saved into our one save slot. Okay? And then we take it from there. So if we look at these buttons, we shall see in the manage data where that is. Okay, and it's in the main menu under manage data. Okay, so there's one little more thing we need to add here. When we click this button, it is going to fire off an interface. Okay. And in that interface is where we delete the stuff. Okay, so this is the interface here. We remove index, we resave the game to slot, and that's the slot names. Okay, so we remove the index, and then what we need to do is delete gaming slot. Okay, and that is going to come from our slot name. Okay, so that is going to go in there. Now what we should actually really do here is move this to the start. Okay, so we're going to do that here. We're going to move this to the start, and the reason we're going to do that is if we don't want to remove this index if this game slot fails, if this delete fails, because basically then it's still there. Okay, so we want to come off here and branch, Now the interesting thing is going to be if this fails, if it doesn't find anything, or if it only fails if it fails to delete. Okay, so the main thing here is to add a breakpoint, right? And we're going to press run, then we're going to select that and then my test game, then we're going to click this, right? And it's nice, that's right. Now this is false, so it's not going to save this. So we step over, okay, and we resume. So we're going to close that. Now that was the expected behaviour there, so we're not going to worry too much about that, okay? But what we are going to do is, if they click a new game, what we're going to do is, in the main menu, what we shall do is create another folder and we'll call it new game. So we're going to split these up so that we know what's going on, okay? And in new game we're going to create a widget, and that widget is going to be called widget new game. Then in here we are going to wrap this with a going to wrap it. In fact, you know what we'll do? What we'll do is go to here. We'll grab this. We'll grab this. We'll copy that. Right? And then we'll go in here and then we'll paste it in here. Now, the difference is, in this case, we're going to need a text box. So it's going to be editable text. And we're going to put it in here. Actually, no, we're not. We are actually going to put it in here. Okay. Now this vertical box is sized into there, so that's okay. And we are going to enter save game name dot. Okay. Then we're going to have some padding on it. Let's make it 10 and 10. And we shall center it. Okay. And we're going to give it some padding to the bottom. So say 20. Okay. And we need to change the font. And why is that not changing exactly? Alright, so that's weird. Change this to game name. Actually, it's going to be the save name. There, it's changed. Okay, whatever. Now, we're going to limit the number of characters. So, it's going to be this. So, length. We need to get the length of this. So I'm just wondering if this is left or if we need to change it to a string. Let's change it to a string and get length. And say if it's greater than 15. If it's greater than, then we branch. So we shall do that and that. We'll take them and we shall align them right, tidy up a bit, drag them down. So in the first instance, what we're going to do here is we're going to change that to 15. And if it's false, we're going to get this and get left 15. And we're going to get that, and then we're going to set the text. Set text, editable text. And we're basically going to set that to here. So it's not if it's true, it's if it's false. No, talking rubbish. So that's right. So, there we go. We can pull this along a bit and then tidy this up by doing that. Save that. And then in our main menu button, in the new game, we don't do this anymore. right? That's more like with continue, but that's going to be different as well. But in the meantime, we'll do that. We shall pop that up there. Okay. We shall set this as the continue for now so that we can still play the game. We can set that to there. And then what we can do is we can paste that, pop that up here. And this is going to be W new game. Okay. And strangely enough, okay, so that's fine. Then in new game, what we're going to do is in the manage data, we're going to do this. Now this might be, no, that's okay. We're going to do that, copy that, right? And then in new game, we're going to add this variable called controller. Okay, and it's going to be of the type controller. So we can save that, and then we can paste that, and we can pop it in here. Then we can delete these, and from there we can do the same thing it's not that one, it's this one. Okay. So what we're doing now is we should have another button there, except we don't. W manage data. Okay, let's see what we've got so far. Might be able to work it out for there. Right, if we go and manage data, that's on the save slot. So this is shown in our window. Right, so that's kind of no good to us. So we can cancel that. We can go back to our new game. Right. And what we want to do here is we want to go back to our designer, and this canvas panel can basically have a border. Okay. And if we click on the border, we can make it black Okay. So we can save that. And we need to check the text message is definitely there. So I'm just wondering, in button, right? See when we create this? This should have a text message in it, right? So text message. Oh, okay. Right, so we need to add a variable to this, which is message. So we add that, and that's going to be a string. And then this message, get that, the message, then set text to the message. Okay. Now this message is going to have to be exposed on spawn. And then it needs to be converted to text. So that's done. Okay. So once we've done that, this is first iteration, guys. So we're just going to get this working in a fashion or other, and we'll take it from there. So we've got new game, and we enter saved name. Right, so we need to change that, and we'll cancel that, and that doesn't cancel. Okay, whatever. Alright, so we need to set that up. So you have button cancel on clicked, remove from parent. Okay, and self. So that's all well and good. Save that. I'm going to now drag this down a bit. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do the same thing again, right? But we're going to copy paste it. Now we know, right, so the first thing we need to do is in our main, it's actually in our button, right? We're going to say save game name. Okay, so basically we're passing in that text, and then in the new game we're going to do that, and the first time, if it's greater than 18, Right, let's check this out. That's going to go in there. Save that, right? So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so what we can say is if the length is greater than 18, right, we're just going to basically say this, and we're going to set it to nothing. Okay, so that it basically just basically clears itself the first time you type something or hit a button. Apparently that's not going to work. Alright, so I wonder how I dealt with this in my other project. If it does that straight away, right? Bizarre, but never mind. Okay, we shall carry on with this and take it from here. So we'll add our reroute. We're not going to worry about it too much. It's something, a little detail I can fix later. So that's... Wait a minute. If that's true, that shouldn't have went in there. Right, let's check that. Add a breakpoint. Right. Save that and run that again. Because in theory, this should be greater than, which means it's true. Which means yeah, it's true. Right, so we can stop that. I've got it the wrong way around, right? So what we can do is we can add a not variable. Then plug that in. We'll resume that. Disable that, resume that, and it still clears. Now we can type, obviously, right? But the problem is here that that's not working right. Okay, as I said, it's a minor issue I can sort later. Now I can save that. I'll tell you what we'll do. Right, we'll fix it. We'll fix it right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another project which has got the code for this, and we shall check that and see what it says. Okay? I think it might be to do with like gain focus or something. right? So it might be something to do with that. So we'll check it out, and that is a new game. So we need to select the correct thing, and it is show the game save panel. New game name, and we set the user focus. Yeah, I'm guessing, yeah, okay, whatever. So this new game name, let me have a check. Right, so let's see what we've got here. Well, we've got the code, but we need the widget. So let's see if we can find well, we can definitely find the widget, right? Okay, so that is the correct box. So it's not the save game. So we need to close this. Sorry guys, I should really be showing you this. Right, so we've got our project here, right, that does the same thing. Right, so we need to close that. And here's the game name, right? And what we want to do is on text changed, right? And view what this does. And yeah, it does something a little bit different, but basically the same thing. Right, so this one doesn't do it either, actually. So that was a wild goose chase for nothing, which is always an awesome thing. Okay, so I'm just wondering if there is an override or something for on focus received. Right? But it's the widget. It's the widget, it's not a particular box. Right, so I'm going to delete that. And now I can't. So we're going to delete that. Now let's see. We've got this, right? So that's when the text loses focus. Or interactivity by the user. Right, now I'm just wondering here if this fires on. Does this fire when we actually start here? Right, new game. Yes, it does. So that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll put a variable and say boolean can clear text. Okay, so we'll set this to boolean. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll add a sequence. Okay, so we shall add a sequence, and then we'll do once. Okay. And we'll set this to true. Okay. Delete that. Then what we'll do is we'll move this across, and then we shall set up our sequence to do this first. And actually we'll say this is a branch, right? Okay, branch. And we'll say get, and if we can clear the text, then we do this. But the first time it comes in, it's not going to allow it to do it, right? So this should stop any of that nonsense. Okay. And this can get deleted, and this we can basically bring it down to here, drag this across. This doesn't go to there, this goes from here to here. We can save that, and let's see if that does the business for us. Right, so in here, and we shall resume. It puts our name in, then that resume, resume, and new oh damn it. Right, so this is probably a take this off, right? Disable breakpoint, and we'll try that again. Okay, so new game. We click on that. Right, and the first time it does that, right, you can stop that. Now, the first time it stops that, what we can do is we can replace from that to nothing. And that should take us back to 0 spaces and everything else. So if we hit that and we click on here, and we have new game. Actually we can't do that, right, because we can't remove the space, because the new game is actually one of the things in the name. Right, I'll tell you what, it kind of works, right? So what we'll do is we'll leave it at that for the moment. Right, we do need to make the widget a bit bigger and a bit more, yeah, it's a bit small, so let's do that, shall we? So this, we'll get that up to 32. Then this, we shall bang it up to 32. Right, now this didn't seem to change. It doesn't seem to change until you do that. Right, there we go. Now, I'm just wondering how you get focus. Right, but then this text here, 24, and this text here, 24. Now, we wrap this with a scale box, and that gets us sorted. And our text here we can wrap with a scale box, and we can save that, and let's see how that's looking. Right, so anyway, so now when they hit OK, this button can actually just do something. We don't need the interface or anything, we just need to go for it. Or do we? That's the question. Do we really? Yeah. Yeah, let's not make the players think they're complete idiots. Okay. At this point, I think what we'll do is we'll have a two-minute break, guys, and we shall be back to carry on with this. Okay. So we shall be back in 2 minutes, and we shall carry on with this, and we shall create a new game and start it up. Okay guys, we're back and we're going to carry on with this. So the next thing we need to do is check if this actually exists. Okay. So in the meantime, we'll tidy this bit up a little bit. And this can go to the right a bit. And this sequence can move up. And this can get a reroute point or a reroute node. Right? Now, what we need to do here is we need to get our save game slot. So we have our controller and we can type slot so we get save slot thing. We're basically trying to stop them trying to save the same name so we can get slots. Right, now we could use this, right? We could use this up here as another check, okay? And we could say, we're going to say for each loop, right? And we're going to have a variable. And I'll tell you what we'll do. We shall create a function and does save name exist. Okay. And we are going to do that, and then we're going to do a local variable and boolean exists. Right? And we're going to get it. Then we're going to go back to our event graph and we're going to cut that, save it. We're going to put that in here. Now we're going to set this first. Okay, so we get our local variable and we set it to the fact that it doesn't exist. Right, now we're going to break this because we're going to do a for loop with break. Okay. So we drag off here and it's going to be for loop with break. And we don't, well, that's fine. Okay. And we are going to come off here and break the save slot. Right. And then we're going to check the save name. And we're going to get the text. And this is a string, so we're going to toString. Okay. Then we're going to compare these and say if that string equals that string, and it's going to be case insensitive, so we don't care if it's lower or uppercase, we're not going to allow it either way. Okay, so we can move this across, then we can say branch so we put that in there, and then we're going to output a true or a false. So this is going to be exists, and this is going to go down here. So if it exists, we're going to set this to true, okay, we're going to set this to true, and then we're going to break. Okay, okay, and then basically we're going to come down here and we're going to get our local variable, fix it in there, then on completion we're going to do that, okay. So this is going to tell us if we have if the name already exists, and if it does, then we return a true, and if it doesn't, we return a false. Does save exist? Okay, and then we'll say no. No, we won't. What we'll do is we'll keep this normal at the start here. Right, so say if it exists, we branch, okay, and we shall get text save name, and just for the series of, just to make it do something, right, we'll set text on this, and we'll set it to nothing if it's true. Okay, so if you pick the same name, it's going to reset this to nothing. Obviously we'd want a message, but we won't do that for now. We want to get on to actually creating a save game. Okay, so if the game's false, then we are going to add a game and the name to our list of games, and then make it the current game. Okay, so what we need to do now is go back here to our save game exists. We can grab this, copy it, we can do that, and the first thing that we're going to do is, because we're going to set the new game to the current game, what we'll have to do is set all of these to not current, okay? So we do for each. Then we break this, okay? And then basically we get this again and set array elements, okay? And then we plug our index in here. Now we might turn this into a function, and we make the save struct. We keep the slot name, we set it to current name 0, and we set that to 0, right? So that does the job for us. And the next thing we need to do is we actually need to save the game. Or at least we need to set it into the slots. Okay? So we can join up the false to here. So the save does not exist. And then what we can do is, well, actually here again, we're going to add unique. Then we're going to add, or we're going to make our slot. Okay, and our slot name is going to be the text save name, the editable text. Okay. Hey Alicia, I'm good, how are you? And hi. So we're going to get editable text, if I can spell it right, which is here. Okay, and then that's not get, that's set. So we need to get this. Get editable text. Okay, then this is going to go in here, and it is going to be the current game. And then we're going to get the save game to slot. IA, is that artificial intelligence? That should be there. Is that your AI? And if it is your AI, what's the problem? So we shall tidy this up a bit. It's no problem, I'll just try and work out what you're trying to say. Not a problem at all. Right, so we're saving that. And that should have saved our slot. Now, we haven't actually saved a game yet. But what we can do is we should be able to create new save slots for when we actually save the game. So what we can do is we can type a new game here, right? And we can say my new game slot, and then we can OK that. Now, whether that did anything or not, I don't know. But if we're going to manage data, there's my new game slot. Alicio, if you try and describe your problem, I'll see if I can come up with something off the cuff. So we can close that and exit that. We have saved our game slot. Okay, now we haven't created the actual game slot yet that's actually going to save the game data. Now, whether I do that in the menu or when they actually save is probably neither here nor there. I'm going to have to load it. Okay, we need to think about this in another way. So, do we need the save game slot immediately on loading a new game? And the answer to that is no, I don't think. I'm right, and then Chase sees me when he sees me. But the problem is that when he stops seeing me, he still knows my current position. Therefore, he continues to chase me. Anyway. Okay. If it's done, are you doing it on perception in the AI? Is the AI controller perceiving the player? Or are you doing some other weird thing? Are you using a behavior tree? That is my first question. So let me show you a behavior tree and we can work from there. Okay? Okay, once it decides to open. Okay, so you're using the behavior tree. So I am guessing that in your AI, this is for a vehicle, but it's much the same, right? So in your AI, when it perceives, okay, you can actually do the reverse. So you can do unperceive, right? So if the stimulus becomes nothing, right, what you can do is you could set a blackboard value down here. You know, if you do a branch, if the stimulus is nothing, right? So if this becomes false, that means that the AI can no longer see it. So you could branch off of this and say if it becomes false, then you set a blackboard value that basically says my current position is nothing, or your chase mode is switched off, or whatever. Okay? Do you understand that? So the AI perception, right, is like overlap. It only switches on once, and then it only switches off once, right? So it doesn't keep firing every time. It only fires when it first gets a stimulus, and it only fires again when it loses that stimulus. Okay, so what you want to do is check this, and when this successfully sensed turns to false, you do something in your tree that stops the AI chasing the character. Okay? So hopefully that answers your question. And hopefully Alessio will sort that out now and be able to stop his characters running around after the player all the time. No problem, Alessio, no problem. If you check the description, I have a Discord, and there's a few guys on there that will help you. We're just started the other day, so, but you're welcome to join, and we shall try and help you as best we can. So anyway, I wouldn't say that, but anyway, thank you for the compliment. So we have created our slot, and we've saved the game so that our save slots are now saved, right? So the point here is that we've stopped the game, we have actually saved a new slot, right? And it's not there. So we actually didn't save the slot. And that's because we didn't give it a slot name. Duh. Right. And the slot name is our name for the overview one, which is FE underscore save slots. Okay? So we need to try that again and make sure it works, because obviously, at least I'm not a genius and I do screw up. So we can say new game and clear this out and say my new game test, and okay that, cancel that, as you can see, we've got my new game test. Close that, exit the game, start it up again, manage data, and there it is. So we've successfully saved a slot in our slots, and we can now actually create the game save. Okay, so let's have a quick break before we do that. So I shall be 2 minutes, bear with me guys, I'll literally be a couple of minutes and I'll be right back with you. If you've got any other questions guys, stick them in while I'm out having a smoke, and I'll try to answer them as best I can when I come back. It's not valid. Okay, when I come back I'll sort that out for you as well, Alicia, okay? Okay, let's get this Discord thing sorted out, shall we? On here. We'll edit this. Never. Okay. So I'm just making up a new invite thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it in the chat first. And then I'm going to update the video details as well. So we'll paste that in and we'll save that. And then sorry about this guys, but I've made a bit of a goof, so I'm going to have to fix it. And we shall fix the rest of it later. Okay, so hopefully that will work for you, Eliseo. And we can carry on with our saving slots. Okay. So the easy way to do this actually now is if we went back to our W main and actually to our main menu controller, right? So our main menu controller, where is it? Main menu, and here is our main menu controller. What we have here is a current save slot, and basically what we want to do is we want to actually move this, and we should have game instance. Do we not have a game instance? Are you kidding me? Hey Cedric, how you doing? FE instance. Okay, so we have got an instance. Right, now this instance is going to have a new variable, and it's going to be the save game slot, and it's going to be of the type struct save game slot. So we shall save that, and we shall move it to the top, hopefully, and save that. Yeah, I'm good, man. Just trying to get this save game stuff sorted out. It's a pretty laborious process, but it's just something you've got to do. There's kind of no getting away from it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to now check that this kind of works. Okay? So when we create the new game and save the slot, right? This becomes... Actually, you know what? It doesn't need to do that, right? What we can actually do here, right, is load the game, right? We can actually add to load the game and continue. Well, from load game it's slightly different, right? But we can definitely do continue, right? Now, here's my thinking behind continue. If they press continue, then it's obvious that the current game that they've been playing is the game that they want to continue. Right? Makes sense, okay? Now, if that's the case, which we're saying it is, then all we need to actually do is look for the game that's the current game in the game slots and then load that game. Okay? And then if they start the level and that game slot passes us back a false, which means that it hasn't been loaded, then all we need to do is recreate it. Okay? Or create it in the first place. So, I'll tell you what we'll do. What we'll do is we'll check here what we've got. We've got load game, we've got continue. Continue is the one that we want to deal with, right? So, what we'll say is, if you go to button, right? We're going to do this, and we're getting the game instance. And I think the other half is back, and the dog's going to go mental for about 2 minutes. So I'm going to turn off the mic for just a minute or two. So bear with me. I'll be back in a second, guys. It's just the dog's making a lot of noise at the moment, so I'll just have to wait for 2 minutes. So sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, guys, we're back. Right, so I'm flicking between the two controllers here, the menu and the game controller. Now, here's the thing. We need to, in the button, okay, we need to set the game instance values for the actual current slot. So, do we have the controller? And the answer to that is no. Right, so as per usual, my very first thing I normally do, and this is on event construct, right? So what we'll do is we'll do a pre-construct, and we shall create a value in here called controller, and it's going to be of the type FEMM controller. Okay, then we're going to pull it in and we're going to set it, but we're going to get player controller from here, then we're going to cast it to the FEMM controller. If anybody's wondering what the FEMM is, it's Fabrica Espace main menu controller, okay? If you're wondering about the weird wacky names, they actually do make sense sometimes. Anyway, so we get our controller and we set that up on pre-construct, which is fine. I'll move it to a nice black line there to line everything up. Now, when we hit this button here, right, we want to get our controller, get our save game ref, then we need to get our slots, right, and then we'll align these to the right, which is cool. Now we're going to do this on a completed, and then we'll test it by actually printing out the slot that we're looking for. So we're going to do a for each. Okay, and then we're going to do a break, and then we're going to do a branch on if it's the current game, and if it is the current game, right, we're going to get our instance, and then we're going to say set game save slot, and we are going to plug this in here, and I wouldn't think it's very good. I mean, only one of these are going to be set at any one time, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that in there. So it's just going to loop around here until it finds the right one and sets it, right? So the interesting part is when we get our FE controller in the game, right, and it starts up, then if we do print string and then set it to, like, I don't know, 30 seconds or something, we set it to 30, right, then we get our game instance, get the game slot, right. Now remember guys, if you don't know this, that the game instance is the only object, right, that, I didn't want to do that. The game object or the game instance is the only object that is passed between different levels. It is the only thing that stays constant throughout the levels. So when I load this or break it and put in the slot name into hello, it should tell me the current game, okay, that I've just loaded. So let's try it. So it's loading, and there's the game name, and it's the last one I did, my game test. Okay, so that worked perfectly. So now, on loading this game, we can load the actual file that we want to load. Okay, so we can align these to the right, hopefully, and this is going to give us the level that we're loading and the save game name that we're loading. Okay, and that should work perfectly. So again, the question is, do we save the save game blank, or do we not? An interesting question, no doubt. So what we could do here actually is, if the load into this level and the level has, and the game save has not been created, we can create it. Okay, so you joined the server and then didn't. Okay, don't know what that's supposed to represent, but oh, you did. Yeah, you've joined the server, Cedric. Thank you. Right. So we'll say, does save game exist? Okay. Yeah, you have. I mean, you can leave again if you want. I mean, it's up to you. It's, you know, all personal choice. So if this slot does not exist, okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to branch off here. And if it doesn't exist, we are going to need to create a save game so we've got our game instance, and we actually need a variable, and it's going to be saved data. Okay, and it's going to be of the type data, saved data. I can't remember what I called it. It's FE save data. Okay, so it's called FE save data. Okay, so if the game does not exist, we're going to bring this in, and it's going to be blank. Okay, so we're going to create save game slot or save game object. Are we going to create a save game object? Save game to slot. So we're going to save the game to slot. If it's false, we save the game to slot and we save the save game data. Now at this point that's going to be empty, right? And this is going to be in here. So here's for the interesting part. On our first go through, right, we have save game slots, okay? And if we create a game now, or we continue, what it's going to do is it's going to create another save slot, or sorry, it's going to save another save, but that save is going to have the name of the slot from the save slots, the one that's currently active. Right, I know that's kind of hard to get your head around, but that's the way it works. So what we'll do is we'll continue, and then we shall check, and it hasn't saved. Okay. So let's add a breakpoint, because I wasn't expecting that. Right, does save game exist? Step over, save game to slot. Right, the slot name is my save game test thing, and resume. Right, refresh, nothing. Okay. Okay, strangely bizarre. Right. So let's stop that for a second. And we shall go back to here. And we create the save game object. Ah, okay. I've missed one step. Okay. So we do create save game object. Right? And that's save data. And then we delete that, and we can set the save game data to this, and then we basically put that in there. Then we join that to there, join that to there, and join this to here. Okay? So that's good. And now, hopefully the damn thing will work. So we press continue, step over, damn it. And so that true shouldn't go there. Okay, goofed again. Right, so continue, step over, and resume. And there it is, my new game test. Okay, so just to show you what's going on here, right, as a final thing before we finish up for the night, I'm going to show you what's going on. Right, so we can click on new game, we can enter a name and call it for the stream. Okay, then we can OK that, close it down. Now that has set it to be the new current game, okay? And then we can continue and if we resume, we have the name here, which is for the stream, and if we check in here, we've got for the stream. So basically this is storing our names, right? This is storing the names for the different games. Or sorry, this is storing the different names for the games, and these are storing the actual data that will load up at the time when we actually load the game in. Okay? And there you have it, guys. We have the first part of the save game system working, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you want to support the channel, just check the description. You can join the Discord, you can do all the other stuff that everybody enjoys, like Patreon. You can subscribe or buy my old game, and that's my shilling done for the night. So thank you, and I hope you'll join me again tomorrow at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. Central Time, or 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So again, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye for now.